Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Catherine Suresh. I'm a global real estate advisor with Premier Sotheby's International in Sarasota, Florida. Today I'm in our Longboat Key office, and I thought it was time to do a little numbers update and talk about the market here. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to print out the numbers, so you're going to see me possibly looking slightly distracted as I flick through windows to get the data. But what's important to know is, for example, current inventory in Sarasota. So this is with a Sarasota mailing address. Now, Longboat Key has its own mailing address. You know, you address things to Longboat Key, you address things to Sarasota. The area of Lakewood Ranch could be Lakewood Ranch or Bradenton, depending upon where your property falls. But anyway, I am focused in my numbers on Sarasota as a whole. So this is everything from mobile homes and condos to luxury waterfront properties. It's the whole gamut. If it's considered residential real estate, its numbers are here. So, active listings as of this morning, June 3rd, 2026, 2,759. This is slightly lower than it was back in March, which is the last time I appear to have recorded numbers. I guess that's probably before I went off to Spain for a bit. The number of contracts per day is down from March, but it is up. Let me find numbers from last year. Well, it's actually about the same as it was last year at 18 contracts per day on average. That means we have 153 days of inventory, which is a little bit higher than it was at the start of the year, but it's lower than it was this time last year, which means we're still in a fairly balanced market. It has less than 4 months of inventory. So that means that it's still kind of balanced. It leans a little bit towards the sellers. Saying that, of the active listings currently on the market, there are 231 who are dropping their prices every week. Now, this can be because, of course, people remember the COVID highs of, everybody swilling champagne if you're selling a property because we all lost our minds, didn't we, during COVID? And so a lot of times sellers, they come into wanting to sell their house with the memory of that. I saw this also when I first was licensed back in 2008, and everybody remembered the numbers from 2005. Of course, that isn't how it works. Real estate is effectively a commodity. It trades on the day for what its perceived value is on that day. So much like gold or wheat or orange juice, it's a commodity, right? Um, Saying all of that, talking about the price reductions and why perhaps so many are, that's like 10% of the active market every week dropping their prices. The average days on market is up, comparable though to last year. So it's up from earlier this year, but at a similar level at this time last year, with 111 days on average between when you list the property and when you get a contract on it. What has gone up a little bit, which is interesting, is the sold price to listing price ratio. So it's at 96%. You could almost put money on us being at 95% because that is such a consistent number. And maybe that's true in other markets. Maybe there is this sweet spot between a buyer's, willingness to pay and a seller's willingness to sell that seems to land at 95% of what the list price is, right? But that's an argument for listing your property at a realistic price, not a wishful price. If you want to sell, there's plenty of people, especially in the winter months down here, who have forever held the opinion that I'll just stick this number on it, and if somebody's fool enough to pay me for it, well, I'll just take their money. There is a lot of that goes on, but frankly, many of us have a business to run, and we are interested in actually helping you sell or helping you buy. Now, those are our numbers. So again, a balanced market. It doesn't feel very active, but when I actually looked through what was selling, it was actually quite evenly spread across the dollar signs. So, almost proportionately from 100 to 200,000, 200 to 300,000, 300 to 4, 4 to 5, 6, so on and so forth. And then above a million, right? It was a lot more evenly spread than it was earlier this year. Now, there is annual seasonality as well. And here we are at the start of June. What's just happened? Well, kids have graduated, from high school or their, elementary, middle schools have all let out. So in June, in the United States, in Florida, typically, people go on vacation in June, right? And then when they come back, everyone's focused on the 4th of July. So typically, from the start of June until after the 4th of July, the market tends to be a little bit quiet, a little bit quieter than usual. Then, after the 4th of July, we start to see an uplift in sales because people are wanting to get moved before the kids start school again in the autumn. And that's kind of one of the patterns. So, if you happen to have a property listed for sale at this time and it seems like it's getting quiet, don't panic. It's a normal seasonal little quiet dip, and it'll pick up again in the not too distant future. I hope you are having a splendid spring and your summer is off to a good start. We're still very, very dry here, lacking in rain. Fingers crossed we'll start to get more so that it comes in balanced and not in the form of a hurricane. Now, finally, on that note, do follow my YouTube because I'm going to start adding in a lot of videos about moving to Florida, what to know if you live in Florida, and things like hurricane preparedness and what do you need to do. So follow me on YouTube so that you make sure to get the updates. Have a glorious day.